Hello again, Charlie Alpha Steve here with another thrilling police story. Well, this one's not really that thrilling, but it's intended as an encouragement to anybody out there who's currently working, whether in the services or not, to do a pension and to put money away for a rainy day. Now, I spent quite a bit of my time after I'd left the police as a financial advisor, independent financial advisor, and I did end up working for the Metropolitan Police Friendly Society, which essentially is it's a bit like financial advice for police officers, but only Metropolitan and City of London police. So I quite enjoyed it actually, because I got the opportunity to talk to all the new recruits at training school at Hendon and advise on how to look after their money, making wills, the insurance, life assurance, group insurance, and various other things. And so it was very good, very enjoyable. And I was there for about 5 or 6 years. And one day, a gentleman, an ex-police officer, turned up at the offices completely unannounced, which is unusual because we were completely anonymous where we were, based in Orpington High Street actually. And the guy turned up and said, oh, yeah, I just came in for a bit of advice really, can you help me? And I said, well, yeah, I've got some time, come through to my office and we'll see what we can do. So he said, well, I've got all this money. He said, I came to see you guys 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, and when I retired from the police, and I invested my commutation, my lump sum with you, and it has now doubled, but I don't need it, so I'm looking for advice on where to put it now to, for it to grow. And so we discussed all of that, and at the time the investments that the Friendly Society provided were better than anything else because there was nobody taking profit. They were all ploughed back in for the benefit of police officers. And so anyway, we took care of business, did that. And I said, well, so, if you've been retired 10 years, what have you been up to, in that 10 years? He said, oh, that's quite a story. He said, when I left the police, I sold my house and I moved to Bexhill-on-Sea in Kent, Sussex rather. And my wife and I started having sailing lessons because we're both keen on that sort of thing. We'd never done it and we thought this was the ideal opportunity. So we had these sailing lessons. We bought a boat, a yacht of some description. We had, learned how to use the radio and how to sail and all the rest of it. And he said one day we just locked up, jumped on the yacht and we sailed. He said he'd spent 5 years sailing around the Mediterranean on his yacht. And, they'd basically anchor up somewhere and row ashore, buy their provisions and then move on. And he says it's been absolute bliss. No worries, no concerns, just sailing around. I thought, oh, that sounds lovely, especially as I was travelling on the M25 every day in traffic jams galore. And I thought, oh, that's lovely. He said, yeah, so then we came home, got fed up with that, as you do. We came home and we stayed home for a little while and very quickly realised that it wasn't climate for us in England anymore. And we decided that we were going to fly to Panama. We sold our yacht in Bexhill. We flew to Panama and we bought another yacht in Panama. And apparently, I didn't know this, but if you buy a yacht in Panama, you get citizenship. Now, don't ask me how it works, but that's what he told me. So he bought this yacht and he said, we spent 5 years sailing around the Caribbean, he said, and it was absolutely glorious. I must have been dribbling at that stage. And he said, yeah, eventually we got fed up with that, so we sold the yacht and we've come back. And, you know, we're now in dreary England yet again. So I said to him, well, what are you going to do now? And he said, oh, I've got a plan. He said, I'm going to go to Canada. He'd done all of his research, of course. I'm going to fly to Canada and I'm going to buy an RV, recreational vehicle, in Canada. And we're just going to zigzag our way through Canada into the United States, the northern United States, down to the border, and when we get fed up, when we get to Mexico, we'll decide whether we're going further down or not. And I thought, how wonderful to be able to, you know, work and get a pension. Admittedly, the pensions were much stronger in those days, and the police pension was the best in the world until politicians managed to decimate it. And yeah, how wonderful to be able to live that sort of life without having to worry about money. And I must admit, I said good luck, and I often wonder what happened to that gentleman, but I'm quite sure he did exactly what he said he was going to do, and he's probably spent his time driving down through the States, and who knows, maybe he did go to South America. So yeah, put your money away, save it up, so that when you get to a certain age, you can retire, take the money, and have the sort of lifestyle that you want. I hope that was of interest. It's not really a shocking story, but it's something that's stuck with me through the years, and I am ever so grateful for the ability to be able to retire and not work, although I'm still working, but that's by choice. Anyway, Charlie Alpha Steve signing off once again. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.